Getting into your dream university is a day you will remember for the rest of your lives. After all the hard work, boring exams and late nights, you can finally relax with the knowledge that it has all been worth it. For many of us, the dream is to study at Oxford or Cambridge University. These institutions not only represent unparalleled education excellence, but opportunity. Opportunity to pursue the career and life you want, and obviously deserve. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Gareth, and on this channel we discuss the strategies and tools that help law students to successfully navigate their law degrees. Today I want to talk about how I specifically got myself accepted into both Oxford and Cambridge University to study law. And I don't want to use the same sort of run-of-the-mill tools and tactics that all the boring videos and blogs and articles out there tell you, but tell you the very niche pieces of advice that worked in my favour. And specifically I want to talk about the importance of building your own personal brand, how to develop a compelling personal narrative, and also how you can engage in tactical research. So let's get straight into it. Now, success when it comes to getting into Oxford and Cambridge starts way before you even begin writing your application. It's all about trying to build yourself up a long time in advance before you start putting things onto paper. In other words, it's all about building your personal brand. You may think that a personal brand is something only celebrities or influencers need to worry about, but you'd be wrong. A personal brand is for anyone who wishes to intentionally modify the way they are perceived. You want to be perceived as a competent and intelligent individual who has a real spark and passion for the particular subject that they're applying for. So if you're applying for law, you really need to show that not only are you ambitious and intelligent, but you're really driven to become a great lawyer one day. Put another way, you have a mission. Everything you've done leading up to the application has been pointing in the same direction, helping you to make a brilliant personal pitch. For example, if you're applying for law at Oxford or Cambridge and you have a particular interest in commercial law, you need to demonstrate an unequivocal interest in commercial law. So whether it's your hobbies or your extracurricular activities or your work experience, all of that needs to point in the same direction towards commercial law, or at least, demonstrating a clear interest in a very certain area of the law so that you can use that to your advantage when it comes to the application itself. For example, if I was interested in applying for law and finance at Oxford University, perhaps it would be best for me to start a business in my free time, or maybe to focus my dissertation on an area of financial regulation, perhaps like cryptocurrencies and the regulations behind that, or maybe getting an internship or work experience at a law firm that specialises in banking and finance, such as Slaughter and May. It's all about demonstrating that you have a very clear and strong interest in law, and hopefully a specific area of the law too. And it surprises me how many students just don't do this when it comes to the application, and it can really undermine and weaken what you're trying to say if you don't have a passion for what you're doing. Oxford and Cambridge want people who are passionate and who are going to be the best lawyers in the future. So make sure you show your passion and make sure you get that across on paper. Now, the first major hurdle when it comes to the application is of course the personal statement, and all this is about is building a narrative, and what you've got to remember here is that humans are sold on emotions and not on the underlying facts. The problem is that most people, when it comes to applying to Oxford and Cambridge for law, just start regurgitating facts. They say that the law fascinates them, they've done some work experience here and here, and they just start generally brown-nosing Oxford and Cambridge in the false belief that this is going to persuade them. The reality is that if you really want to persuade Oxford and Cambridge, you need to write your personal statement by building a personal narrative that explains how your previous experiences led you to sending this application, and Oxbridge is the next logical step in your career plan. So you're showing how Oxford or Cambridge fits into your larger life goals, and you can see how this would sound so much better. So for example, if I was applying to Oxford or Cambridge today, I'd begin by first explaining how I initially became interested in law and set the emotional scene for the person who's going to be reading the application. As an example, if I was interested in banking and finance law, perhaps my concerns over the unregulated nature of decentralized currencies sparked the initial interest. You can then go on to say that from this initial experience, that helped you to forge your way towards where you are today. So for instance, you went and applied for different internships at law firms specialising in finance. You decided to learn to code so that you could understand cryptocurrencies and their underlying blockchain technology. In other words, you're sort of stacking different aspects onto your narrative that helps you to build a compelling personal statement when it comes to applying to Oxford or Cambridge. By threading the application into your life story, you're not only persuading them from an emotional standpoint, but you're showing them that you've really thought about where you're going with your life. You see, Oxford and Cambridge don't just want academic robots, they want people who are going to change the world. And by really thinking about your application and where you're going in your life, this is the best way in which you can show them this. Undertaking general research about the degree and the university is obviously a given. So what do I mean by tactical research? Tactical research means going above and beyond the call of duty to find information that is both unique and intriguing. It's information that gives unrivaled strength to your applications because nobody else has been as meticulous as you are in hunting it out. It's what gives your application the wow factor. Now, there are loads of different ways of trying to find the wow factor for your application, but one of the best ways I've found when it comes to applications, especially to Oxford and Cambridge, is to try and find out who could potentially be reviewing your application. Now, this is going to be easier if you're applying for a graduate position at Oxford and Cambridge, but the fact remains that trying to find the wow factor for your application, the sort of piece of information that nobody else would have thought about, is going to make you stand out above the pack. So going back to the previous example of finding someone who's going to be reviewing your application, once you've found the responsible individual, you can then start reading about the work they've done, the things they're interested in, and stalk them on LinkedIn to understand their career plan. By doing this, you can start crafting an application that appeals to them. In other words, you're making your application not only personal to you, but personal to them too. For example, if the person who is going to read your application is the head of commercial law at Cambridge University, but they may also have some sort of gig on the side where they're advising banks on financial matters, it may be a good idea for you to mention the conference that you attended that was related to financial matters, or potentially the startup that you started a couple of years ago, which was based on cryptocurrency or the blockchain technology. So it's about understanding who your audience is and then catering what you're saying in your application to that audience. The point is, you want to be playing your best hand at all times, and tactical research allows you to pull out an ace when everyone else has a joker. If you look for advice online about how to get into Oxford and Cambridge, it's all very generic. It tells you to write a good application or to do practice interviews and make sure you visit the university. It's all very useless information that isn't actually going to help you out because it's the sort of information that everyone's taken on board and everyone's going to do. Instead, to get into Oxford or Cambridge, you need to be doing something completely different. And the point of this video then is to show you 3 different ways in which I was able to get into Oxford and Cambridge University by doing something slightly different to everyone else. So try to think about your own unfair advantage and what's going to make you stand out from the pack. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions at all about getting into Oxford or Cambridge University, then please do leave your questions below and I'll get straight back to you. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.